All right, what's good today, fellas? We're jumping into my top meta AR builds y'all should be using. These things are pretty dang OP, and it's what I use to drop all my 20, 30 plus kill gameplays here on Rebirth Island, of course, in regular Warzone. They are going to work for both, so y'all should definitely enjoy today's video. If you guys do, give it a like, subscribe, those notifications turned on. With that being said, let's hop into it. All right, so we're hopping into this here, and I'm going to build this beautiful XM4 here for you guys. This is one of my top ARs I absolutely love using. We got of course, the XM4 White Rabbit variant with diamond camo for those y'all that are wondering out there at home. You know what I'm saying? People always ask me, so I got to let y'all know. But let's go into this. First thing, muzzle category. We're going to throw in that beautiful agency suppressor. We always throw on the agency for these Cold War ARs. I mean, it's just what we do. Agency suppressor is the way to go. After that, in the barrel section, we got the 13.5 task forces because it is the best barrel out there, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The task force is the best way to go for this gun. Now, in the underbarrel section, we're going to throw on the field agent grip here for horizontal and vertical recoil control. We may be able to add a variant on here to be able to get a little something else. Never mind, I take that back. Thought we were going to be able to get the, diamond or gold camo to cover that, but we can't. Anyways, we're running the field agent grip on this thing just because, that's going to help us out the most for this recoil, because it's going to have a little bit. In the magazine section, we have the option here to go for the 45 or the 60. Firstly, I'm a 60-round mag kind of guy, so I'm going to go for that beautiful 60-round mag on this gun. Absolutely love this thing. I mean, I believe 60 is better than 45 for this. I used to be real big on the 45, but I did switch over to the 60 pretty much exclusively for a lot of these Cold War ARs, just because it's like, I'd rather have a little bit extra ammo as opposed to a tad bit extra mobility. Now, for our last thing in the optic section, we're going to go through on that Axle Arms 3x scope, which is definitely going to be the way to go for also a majority of these Cold War ARs. This is a real solid thing here. And definitely try out the White Rabbit if you guys don't have it, and also the XM4. It's just a crazy good AR. All right, next up, we're going to give you guys a build here for the STG, the gun that's on the thumbnail. Of course, it looks nothing like the gun on the thumbnail here because when you remove the attachments, you pretty much lose the variant. So let's go ahead and build this thing up so it actually looks a little bit better, and it's going to be effective in game, of course. So first thing, muzzle category, throwing on that MX silencer here. We've been running the MX here on this gun here for a while. I see people sometimes maybe run like the recoil booster. Personally, I don't really like when I lose that accuracy, so I just like to go for the MX silencer. Keeps me off the radar. I think this is unbelievably effective, so go with that. In the barrel section, we're going to go for the VDD 760mm 05B barrel. This is kind of like a task force equivalent barrel for this gun, so this is kind of what I recommend to use this. Now in the underbarrel section, we're just going to go for the M1941 hand stop. Got to be able to control that recoil. It's not going to be too much, but it's definitely enough to kind of like, have it be there and be just a tad bit annoying if you don't have a good grip for it. In the magazine section, we're going to go for that 7.62 Gorenko 50-round mag. You guys could definitely go for the Kurz 60, which is going to be the base ammunition type, but this did get a buff here in the more recent patch. I was using it beforehand, but I definitely recommend it even now more so just because it's really solid, so go and try this out. In the ammunition side of things, we're gonna go for lengthened here to increase bullet velocity. Got to make sure our shots actually hit, faster. It's just kind of how it is. I mean, these are a long-range weapon, so that's good. In the rear grip section here, I'm gonna go for leather grip here for ADS speed and aiming stability. You guys could go for something maybe like polymer for flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. I've seen people use this, and I've also used this myself, so I've switched back and forth between polymer and leather just because, I mean, sometimes I feel like I get a little too much flinch and it's kind of bothersome. So maybe I'll throw on polymer here for this time. In the optic section, we're going to throw on the G16 2.5X, of course. It's just the best thing to use, and also comes with this variant, so it's nice that it actually looks the part. In the stock section, we're going to go for the VDD 27 Precision. I see people try to go for the weighted stock down here, which you guys can definitely 100% do. For me personally, though, when I use this thing, I don't feel like I'm ever at the ranges to the point where I need that weighted stock. I feel like the precision stock here works out great, especially with that polymer grip and everything. I mean, you're pretty good at taking care of for like flinch resistance and like recoil control and stuff like that. So definitely going to give this a try. And then in the perk section, we're going to go run Vital here for just that increase in torso damage. This does not stack with the damage magazine, so don't try that. But we're running Vital, or you guys can run Focus if you want more flinch resistance, power. I've definitely tried that out too, but Vital's my way to go. And then perk 2, we're to go through on Fully Loaded here because there isn't much else in here that I do believe is actually good. So Fully Loaded is my go-to. This is my full build here for this thing. Love the SDG, super good. Definitely give it a try. Now this next one here can sometimes be a tad bit controversial just because the M2 does have a decent bit of recoil, so sometimes I feel like console people don't necessarily like it, but for me, I mean, as long as you know how to control the recoil, regardless if you're in console and PC, you should be able to dominate with the EM2, so let's give you guys a good build for it. First thing, muzzle category, agency suppressor like always. It's just pretty tried and true for all these Cold War ARs. The barrel section, we're gonna go through on the task force barrel here. It's pretty standard, like I said, for most of these CWARs, so we're gonna throw this on. Also, I love this scimitar variant, by the way. On the underbarrel section, we got the field agent grip here. We love the field agent. It's just horizontal, vertically. You definitely need that. This thing's gonna kick, and it will still have a little bit of recoil, but like I said, if you can manage it, like, you'll be taking out people unbelievably quick. In the magazine section, I'm just gonna throw in that beautiful Stenag 50 round mag. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Stenag 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need it for this gun. You can run the 40 and still be perfectly okay because the fire rate's not super high. But for me personally, I like the Stenag 50. Now in the optic section, of course, go for the action arms 3 times, but I'm actually gonna go for the default on this thing because the Soliton Scimitar, as much as this looks really cool, it's very obtrusive in your line of sight, and so I don't like it for that reason. So I go for the default, and that's what I ended up running on this gun. This is my full build here. I love the EM2, definitely gun I see a bit slept on, just because, I mean, that recoil, you know what I'm saying? All right, next up, I'll give you guys a build here for the M4. Gotta include some Modern Warfare weapons in here. Gotta show them some love because they're still real good, and I don't think they get enough love here within these videos. So let's jump into this thing. By the way, this is the Atlanta FaZe camo. You can't put this on anymore. I have this saved as a variant, as you can tell by the top there on the left corner, but you just can't do it on anymore, unfortunately. So I just only have this because it's a variant saved. First thing on here, though, obviously mono suppressor, we got to throw that on there. It's just the way to go for this gun, so I'd recommend that. Pretty much actually all the Modern Warfare weapons, SMGs, ARs, we always throw the mono on it. In the barrel section, we're going to throw on the stock M16 Grenadier barrel. It's just the damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. Definitely need that out of this weapon. You're trying to make this a longer range AR, which is pretty much the way to run this thing. You don't really want to run this as like short range, something like that. So we run this. In the underbarrel section, we're going to go throw on Commando foregrip here, of course. Recoil stabilization, aiming stability. You know what I'm saying? It's just definitely the best option out there. It's not going to slow you down, but it's also going to help out with that recoil control. So we like that. From the barrel section, not barrel section, my bad, magazine section, we're gonna go for that 60 round mag. I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? I always go for the 60 here on the M4, and then last but not least in the optic section, a few options in here. So you guys can go for the Corp Combat Hollow. That's really solid. If you want to go for a little bit longer range build, go for the VLK 3 times optic, or if the other options gonna be down here, the PBX 7 or PBX Hollow 7 sight. This is really good and I like it a lot. So those are the 3 options I'd give you guys here in this. Other than that, pretty much stay away from the rest of the shenanigans in here. It's not really worth it to use anything else. But this is my go-to M4 build here. I just love it. Just kind of switch out the optic, and you can use it in a variety of different ways. All right, next up, let's give you guys a build here for the Automaton, aka the Auto John. That's what I like to call it. So this is the ISONUCLEAR variant. Of course, you can't tell because I removed all the attachments, and you lost the look of the gun. But let's go into this. First thing, muzzle category, of course, MX silencer. That's what we like to do. In the barrel section, we're gonna go for that ZAC 600mm BFA barrel. We gotta love the BFA barrel. This thing is just so good, and it's the only one in here that I recommend to use on this gun. Under barrel section, we're gonna go, of course, for that beautiful M1941 hand stop. Gotta use this thing. Like I said, it's just the best thing here for these Vanguard ARs, so I just use it all the time. Even the SMGs, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real good. In the magazine section, though, the 6.5mm Sakura 75 round drum. I haven't used the 50 rounds here too much, and I can't really give you guys a setup or a recommendation to use it. I've been using the 75 round, and that's like my go-to on this thing. Really solid. And who doesn't like having 75 rounds in the magazine? And it's the base ammunition type, so you can't complain there. You're not losing out on really anything. In the ammunition side of things, though, of course, lengthened here for that increase in bullet velocity. In the rear grip section here, you definitely need something that's gonna help with that recoil control. So you can go for like a rubber grip, but for me personally, I generally go down for something like the polymer grip, or you can even maybe go for something like the pine tar or even the stippled. But pretty much I recommend going for like the polymer. That's like my go-to for just everything nowadays. At least I'm trying to control recoil in these Vanguard ARs. This just seems to be the go-to. In the optic section though, G16 2.5x. We just always run this. I mean, there ain't no reason to run anything else on these guns. In the stock though, I recommend going for the ZAC skeleton. Of course, when you throw on the skeleton stock, I mean, you can see this. I mean, it's ridiculous. You get the entire look of the gun back as soon as you throw on this. I'd recommend this anyways, but it's kind of crappy that you have to run like one attachment just to get the entire look of the gun. I hate how this works, but that's just my recommendation. And then of course, in the perk section, we're gonna go for tight grip, accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. This gun is in desperate need of that. And then in perk 2, we're gonna go for fully loaded. It's real good to have for your second loadout, your first loadout, whatever it may be. Having max starting ammunition is always a good thing here for, you know, Call of Duty. So this is my full build here. Love this gun. Give it a shot. super top tier. All right, speaking of Modern Warfare ARs, let's give you guys a build for the Grau. So the Grau is a top tier one. It's got virtually no recoil, especially the right build. So let's hop into it here. First thing, muzzle, of course, mono suppressor like always. It's pretty, you know, standard here nowadays to run that. Barrel section though, we're gonna throw that temp is 26.4 Archangel barrel. Gotta love the Archangel. It's really solid. In the underbarrel section, commando foregrip. We ain't gotta go crazy with this thing. This thing's gonna have very minimal recoil, so we're gonna throw on the commando. Magazine, of course, I'm a 6-year mag kind of guy, so I'd be running that 60, you know what I'm saying? And then for the last thing, we're gonna go for the laser here. I'm gonna go for the tack laser here. This increases the ADS speed, aiming stability, and of course the aim locking steadiness. And you can use this in place of an optic just because the iron sights using the Tempest barrel are incredibly like good. So that's the reason I'd recommend actually use a tack laser and be able to take advantage of that, as opposed to throwing on a sight on this thing and kind of ruining these perfectly good iron sights. So this is gonna be my full build here for the Grau. I like this thing quite a bit, and it's just super good. All right, and for our final build here today, we're gonna take a look at another Cold War AR that's really good, the AK-47. Let's jump into this here. First thing on this muzzle category, Grew suppressor like always. I'm gonna throw this on here, and of course I think we can get the gold camo to cover this here with this specific one. I don't know why that works like that. In the barrel section, we're gonna go through on the Spetsnaz RPK barrel. I love the Spetsnaz RPK. It's really good, and it makes this gun the most usable it possibly can be, just because this thing's gonna have a little bit of recoil. Otherwise, it still will have some that you're gonna have to manage, but there's reason to keep trying to nerf this gun because like it's really good like that. So that's, you know, you have to be able to outfit yourself properly to be able to control that recoil and everything like that. In the underbarrel section, we're gonna throw on the Spetsnaz, of course, like always. Horizontal, vertical. This is basically, what is the field agent equivalent here, but of course for the AK. In the magazine, we're gonna throw on that Bakelite 60. Gotta love that. We're gonna see if we can get the camo to cover this a little bit. Oh, there we go. We can get it for the catnip variant here. Of course, that's pretty sick, but that's gonna be my magazine of choice. And in the optic section, finish this whole build off here with the Axle Arms 3 times. You can't go wrong with this. This has been my full build here. If you guys enjoyed my top 5 guns, make sure you drop it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Just so much cap, don't be Randy. I'm out. Peace.